Welcome to Total Traffic Network. This is one of the hubs here in Phoenix, Arizona. There's actually 9 of them, right, Mark?
There's 9.
Yeah, and we're actually going to give you a tour, so keep it right here. You'll enjoy it, trust me.
We represent anywhere from 5 to 10 different cities. And my job primarily is to provide traffic information to 147 radio stations and about 5 or 6 TV stations. I say 5 or 6 because we're about ready to bring another TV station on board. This particular section is called 24/7 News Source. And what these folks do is gather news from all over the country and distribute it to our affiliates. We give it to them in several forms. If you're a country station, we can give it to you in that style. If you're a top 40 station, you want it a certain way. If you're a news talk station, you want very serious news, you want presidential speeches recorded and forwarded to you, we can take care of all that. So that's what happens in this room. This is kind of a major hub in the United States. Maui does a tremendous job for me. I mean, he was working for me as a part-timer in Colorado Springs, and I had a full-time opening in Phoenix, and we talked, and I thought just getting a sense from him how committed he was to giving us the best product, because I get lots of resumes of people, they sound really good. They said, hey, I've been on the air a long time. Well, that's great, but what we do is a little bit bigger than that. We have to gather all this traffic information. You have to really be dedicated. It isn't about being cool and you just sound good on the radio.
Okay, so we collect data, as Mark was saying, all over. Here's our singular. This is actually part of our company. The Loop 202 all the way around looks pretty good, except for right up here in this area where it's yellow. So that means that it's probably down with 65 miles per hour, so it's probably maybe 55, 40 miles per hour. But this is set up for all these markets. Like here's what Albuquerque looks like. So like right now, there's that water main break. So we can get on and go, hey, there's a water main break, eastbound lane, down to 1 lane. Mark called that in. Traffic fixture Mark called that in. It's on Central Avenue, eastbound on Carlisle Boulevard. Hey, Phoenix traffic, it looks like we got some southbound traffic on Highway 143 southbound between University Drive. Looks like it's about a 5-minute delay in that area. We have an accident right now coming in, Bell Road west of El Mirage Road, so keep an eye out for that. We have a vehicle on fire right now at Gavilan Peak Parkway, south of, that's how you do it.
We also put all of our stuff on Twitter, so you can follow us on Twitter and get real-time traffic updates that way. In this particular city, Phoenix, we have 8 radio stations that are represented within this building. The Total Traffic Network is an arm of Clear Channel Media and Entertainment. The reason it has 3 call letters is that tells you it's really old, because when they started radio stations back in the 1920s, all the radio stations were given 3 call letters. Then they realized we're going to run out. So they said, okay, let's do this. 4 call letters, everything on west of the Mississippi, you want to put a K in front of it, and everything east of the Mississippi, put a W in front of it. And then you have 4 call letters, and it really just tremendously increases the amount of call letters that are available. So KOI is one of the first stations in Arizona. It's on AM 1230. Come here, I'll show you the studio. This is a studio of AM 1230 KOI. They play a lot of Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé, things like that. We call them standards. Radio stations that, my dad was on the radio for 30 years. When my dad was on the radio in the 50s and 60s and into the 70s, you had a radio station and there was somebody there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, overnights, weekends, the whole time. Somebody actually had to run it. Well, what's happened over the last 20, 25 years with automation and syndication means that there might be somebody in the morning, maybe somebody's at night or in the afternoon, and then the rest of the station is going to be automated, especially with your smaller stations. Okay, so they need traffic in the morning and the afternoon. Well, that's another body that they don't have. Problem solved. Maui and I can take care of you, or any of the people that we have working here. We'll send you the traffic report. What we want from you is we want the 15-second commercial that we're going to read at the end of the traffic report. These are some of our sales folks right here.
Hi.
Kathy and Terry. They go sell those commercials and then we read them. And so what those folks want to know is which radio station are you doing traffic for, and how many times do you need to put a commercial in? And they total all that up, and then they tell us what commercials we're going to read at any given time. Every year it grows. So like I said, it's Garmin and TomTom. We have most of the navigational devices. We're going after pretty much all the car companies so that when you're in your car, you can get the traffic and flow data. Because not only do we tell you where the accidents are, we tell you where the freeways are slow, and that's really what most people want. We were also integrating in, they have Metro Light Rail here. We have that information so that you can log in and to our website and it'll tell you the trains are running slow. In some cities, we haven't started in Phoenix yet, some cities will tell you that the buses are slow or on time and things like that. If you look at many of the TV stations around the country, when they do traffic in the morning, typically in the morning, some do in the afternoon, you'll see a map behind them. And they'll say they're slowing here, they're slowing there. We provide them with that map and with all the data that goes on the map. And we provide them with the training on how to know how to use it, because you actually have to manipulate a little bit. Sometimes it'll show a view of the whole city, and then they can hit their clicker and it'll zoom into a particular location. So we give them all that kind of training as well. Staying up to date. My biggest fear is, because I'm in charge of 9 cities. It'd be Phoenix, Tucson, Albuquerque, El Paso, Salt Lake City, Denver, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, and Las Vegas. So my job 24/7, 365 days a year, is to know every traffic problem that's happening in those cities at all times. And so I lose some sleep on that sometimes. Now, because we rely on a lot of different ways to get this information. We can look at freeway cameras. There's a lot of freeway cameras. We listen to police scanners. And there's a whole bunch of different ways we gather it. But my biggest fear is that there's a freeway closed somewhere and somebody's driving along and now they're stuck. And because we didn't tell them it was there, because we got it maybe 10 minutes later. So my biggest challenge is making sure that we have all the tools we need to have the most up-to-date traffic information we can get.